Well, hey, welcome, and thank you for tuning in. Dave, we're speeding through 2013. This is episode 2.3. 2.3, yeah. So a lot of great stuff lined up. If you notice behind me, the hearts are on the wall.
We're a little decked out.
It's Valentine's Day, or very close. So you get anything special for your Valentine this year?
I sure did. In fact, I purchased it from Mr. John Karam of Abby's Golden Gems, who's going to be on the show with us today.
Nothing like an infomercial to start things off, but John's a good guy. He's going to be talking with us. What in specific is he going to be sharing with us today?
You know, John is a hometown jeweler who's been in town here as one of our few hometown jewelry shops since 1985, and I think it's really interesting to get his take on how his business has survived. He's certainly got a lot of competition. But we want to know a little bit about his secrets to success over the years, and maybe what some hot trends are this year for Valentine's Day. I know a lot of people. I'm a little earlier this year than I have been in the past with my holiday shopping, and I know some people are maybe still looking for some ideas. So John's going to talk a little about that.
Now, I'm a last-minute shopper all the time. For Christmas, December 23rd is probably when I start. 24th is when I wrap up, so I'm a last-minute kind of person. Valentine's Day, no exception to the rule. The way to my wife's heart is not through jewelry, but through chocolate.
I see.
Some of the best chocolate in the area comes from Colebrook's Chocolate in Connellsville, PA. They have a great new storefront. Have you been out there in the Martins Plaza?
I have. I was just out there today, and people think the only great chocolate from Pennsylvania is from Hershey, and that's certainly not true. We have some great chocolatiers here locally, and Colebrook Chocolate, I think, is a legend in the making. They've got some really interesting and unique selections out there, and we maybe want to explore the candy making process, how some of these things go down, and hear a little bit about some of the things they've got going on, and where you can find Colebrook Chocolate here in the community. So
Valentine's Day isn't the only thing we're going to be talking about. Carol Stewart is here, and what's Carol going to share with us?
Carol is involved in a really neat outreach program here locally called Joni and Friends, and it takes place up at the beautiful Jumonville Retreat Center, which is really one of the treasures, I think, here in Fayette County. And it's a camp, it's a family camp that's really a week away, sort of a respite and a ministry to people with disabilities and their families. I think a much needed service, and volunteers are needed, campers are needed, so Carol's going to give us the scoop on that.
Well, that's some great programming that is good for youth and has camping involved, but another group that likes to camp and focuses on youth is the Boy Scouts, and we have the Cub Scouts out in the audience today. Let's give a big round of applause for our Cub Scouts out there. Now, where are these Cub Scouts from today, Dave?
These Scouts are from Pack 608, and it's where I grew up as a Scout. Went through Pack 608, went through to Troop 608 after I crossed over, got my Era Light Award, and then went on to become an Eagle Scout. And I know a lot of these guys here. We got some future Eagle Scouts here in the audience, and Mr. Keith Jeffries, I believe, and a lot of the other volunteers that kind of help keep this program strong for our Scouts are here. And I spoke to Keith Jeffries. His late father, Ken Jeffries, was my Cub Master. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to dedicate tonight's episode in Ken's memory. He was a great volunteer with the Scouts.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have just a couple more minutes to run through what's going on today. I think we gave everyone a great preview so far, but I would be amiss if I didn't throw out there the big basketball tournament that's coming to town. We have to get that in here for just a couple minutes. And if you're a regular Fayette TV viewer at home, you may watch a special show. There's a 3-episode talk show that's going to be on. What's the title of that show, Dave?
It's the USCAA Tournament Buzz. This is basically March Madness for some of the smaller schools, and it's happening right here in Fayette County.
What's amazing is that it's a national tournament. People are coming from all over. And if you follow college football at the local level, like Penn State, Fayette's team, they now have players that are from all over. Where in California is one of the players from?
Yeah, their basketball player. He's from
La Cucamonga?
Rancho Cucamonga or
There we
something
go.
like that. And I
so
thought
the
our buddy Steve Suprick was making that up, but that's actually where he's from.
The tournament brings people from all over the nation. The top teams together. They stay at Nemacolin Woodlands. They play out at Penn State Fayette, who has a beautiful facility for that. And it's a great recruiting tool for the Fayette campus and for their athletic program.
There's going to be a lot of great things happening in the community surrounding that tournament. There's a downtown parade, a 5K race.
Highlands Hospital.
Highlands Hospital's putting that on, and along with some others, and it's going to be really special. Watch the Penn State men and women in action. There's a skills competition that's going to take place, so make sure you keep attuned here to Fayette TV and catch the USCA basketball tournament buzz for all the details.
So that's coming up at the end of the month. A lot of great stuff packed in tonight's show. We are going to have to get to our musical guests, but you notice over here I have my my Valentine's Day box.
I noticed that. That's an interesting prop there. It's got stuff in it.
I do. I have Valentine's. They came already. This one is from Harry Metz. Harry's our cameraman here.
That's right.
And it has jokes on it. You want to hear this joke,
sure.
Dave? It says, what did the boy bear say to the girl bear?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Have a very good Valentine's Day.
There we go.
So, yeah, it's Valentine's Day. We're excited about that.
That was nice of Harry.
That was nice of Harry. I think he has more in here, too, but maybe we'll get to those a little later.
Yep.
They have some great jokes on there. So we're set to go. We have a young man who's going to be opening up the show with music, Tim Litvin, and he does a lot of music, a lot of different styles, but primarily Big Buffett man. Are you a parrot head, Dave, as they say?
I am. I am not as intense as some of the parrot heads, but I do have an appreciation just for I think Jimmy Buffett, in addition to being a really fun singer with great music, is kind of a marketing whiz. I mean, the man's got his own line of Hawaiian shirts. He's got shot glasses. He's got everything. And,
Margaritaville, the restaurant?
Margaritaville restaurant. I was at the one in Orlando and had a great time down there.
I think I might have been there with you.
I think you may have been. It's I've yet to make it to a Buffett concert, but as I was telling you before the show, I think this is the next best thing. Tim Litvin, I saw his. He reached out to us here at Going Live. Was real impressed with his YouTube videos, and I think you're going to like what he's got to offer us today.
Well, it is. Not the next best thing. This is the best thing here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, put your hands together for Mr. Tim Litvin.
I took off for a weekend last month just to try and recall the whole year. All of the faces and all of the places, wondering where we all disappeared. But I didn't ponder the question too long. I was hungry and went out for a bite. Ran into a chum with a bottle of rum, and we wound up drinking all night. It's those changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes, nothing remains quite the same. With all of our running and all of our cunning, if we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. Reading departure signs in some big airport reminds me of the places I've been. The good times are riches and brought so much pleasure, makes me want to go back again. If it suddenly ended tomorrow, well, I could somehow adjust to the fall. Good times and riches and son of a wishes, I've seen more than I could recall. It's those changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes, nothing remains quite the same. With all of the islands and all of the highlands, if we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. I think about Paris when I'm high on red wine. I wish I could jump on a plane. So many nights I just dream of the ocean. God, I wish I was sailing again. Whoa, yesterdays are over our shoulders, so I can't look back for too long. There's just too much to see waiting in front of me, and I know that I just can't go wrong with these changes in latitudes, changes in attitude. Nothing remains quite the same. With all of our running and all of our cunning, if we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. If we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. If we weren't all crazy, we would go insane.
Oh, hey, Tim, thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks for having me.
That was a great open. So obviously, Jimmy Buffett is a big influence on you and on the type of music you perform. When did you hear your first Buffett song?
I heard my first Buffett song probably about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I fell in love with him as soon as I heard it.
What drew you to that type of music? What said, you know, this is me. This is what I want to play?
He's a very calm guy, likes to have a good time, no real worries about things, wants to have a good time, fun, and that's what I like.
And he has a lot of fans that are really, you know, they follow him, parrot heads. What do you think makes them follow him so adamantly?
Parrot heads come together like a family. When you go to a concert, you are all one as a family, and they just love his music, and it's a good time.
So when you're playing your music, you're playing a Buffett cover. What do you want your listeners to feel? What are you trying to make them experience?
I want them to feel like we're having a good time listening to it, and just feel comfortable and get into the music, just like Jimmy would want.
So do you have any special mentors other than Jimmy Buffett, or, you know, he's mentoring you from afar? He's a great inspiration. Anyone local who's helped you out with your musical talents and career?
Well, for one, I like Kenny Chesney a lot too. He's a big
Okay,
artist. But,
sure.
The Clarks, I'm a real big fan of the Clarks, and Chris Higbee.
Okay.
Like both of them, real big influences. Local guys who've made it in the music business.
So they've made it. You're up and coming. What's the future hold for Tim? What are you looking to do?
Well, I'm looking to hopefully make a career out of this, and right now I'm in the process of working on my first album. It should be out by the end of summer, and hopefully trying to get a little tour together this summer. Go down south, a couple shows, and then I would love to get on Story Square up in Uniontown. That's a dream of mine.
So your album, is it going to be covers, original stuff?
No,
what are you doing?
It's going to be 5 originals of my own.
Okay.
And it will drop before summer.
Okay. Well, hey, when you get those originals out, promise us you'll come back and play for us again and share one of those with us. How about that?
I'd love to.
You're going to stick around? You'll close out the show here today?
And to find my album when it comes out, you can find me on Twitter at Tim Litvin, or you can find me on Facebook, Tim Litvin.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Tim Litvin. We'll be back after these messages.
Do you have a buy local card?
Yes, I have one.
I do. Yeah, I have one. I use mine every day.
Where's your buy local card?
Use your buy local card to save money at restaurants, grocery stores, retail shops, tourist attractions, and service providers. Cards can be purchased online at www.buylocalfayette.org or by calling 724-437-7913.
Savor the flavor of Fayette. Buy local.
Well, hey, thanks for sticking around with us here this evening on Going Live with FCTV. Joining us on the couch, Mr. John Coleman. John, how are you this evening?
John Karam.
Or John Karam. I'm sorry.
We have John Coleman in the house
John
today,
Coleman's
too.
here as well. They throw 2 Johns on the show, and it throws me completely off of where I am.
2 John C's.
2 John C's. I know. Dave does these things just to kind of...
He tripped you up.
I know.
He got you. That's good.
Yeah.
So Valentine's Day, this is Valentine's season.
Yeah.
Things busy up at the store up at Abby's Golden Gems?
Yeah, things are busy. People, but you had the right idea. Men really don't shop till the last minute, except for people like Dave who are well organized and
Sure.
remember my name. And but you know, we'll get really busy that last 2 days.
Okay. So I understand you started your business. This is kind of an interesting story that Dave shared with me. With $400 at your mother's kitchen table, now you have 11 employees. How do you explain that kind of growth?
Well, you know, naturally hard work. Young Boy Scouts, you have to work hard at everything that you want to attain in life. But We started our business out of necessity, basically. My wife and I, Diane, our daughter was in college at the time. It was the first time in our short marriage that we had real financial problems because college was so expensive even back in the early 80s. And so with that $400, we found a source of buying gold jewelry that was a lot less expensive than what you could buy at a retail store naturally. And we bought it wholesale, turned it over, sold it, developed some ideas at my mother's kitchen table.
And you were selling out of your vehicle at the very beginning, right?
Actually, I would go to offices and homes and do little parties, undercutting the old department stores that are no longer here anymore, the ones that none of you folks would remember, the Gimbels, the Kaufmans.
You drove them right out of business, huh?
No, not actually, but I outlasted them.
Okay.
I outlasted them.
You think that good customer service, getting to know your customers, learning their names, kind of helps?
Absolutely. Well, learning their names is great. I mean, you have to be very personable in any type of a retail business.
Sure.
Especially in today's market where you have, you can buy jewelry anywhere. You can buy it on the internet, you can buy it at Walmart, you can buy it at Sears. Television's a big place to buy jewelry now, but there's very few places that you can get personal service. Customer service is almost the lost art, in modern day America. When I was growing up, there was no mall. There was no big chain stores. You shopped in little mom and pop type businesses, some bigger than others, but that's kind of where our roots are, though we would not have survived and flourished without the use of the internet, without the use of computers, without the use of modern technologies, which we try to stay up with, I try to stay up with it all the time. I'm supposed to be tweeting, and I haven't quite done that yet, but I think that's the next big thing. We're on Facebook and have been for a couple of years.
Yeah. So that's great that you're keeping up with the times. Here at Going Live, we just actually have 2 new interns that are going to be with us, one of which will be working with social media because it takes a time, but you have to get it done. So the name of your business is Abby's.
Right.
Where's that name come from?
Yeah, a lot of my customers who've known us for a long time seem to care. I think people who are new to us don't care too much. We also, not knowing any better, way back when, there is no Abby in our family. We kind of honored my grandparents. My grandparents were immigrants to this country. They became merchants, as a lot of people of Lebanese ancestry were when they moved to the United States. And the little village that both sets of my grandparents came from was called Abdilli.
Okay.
It's A-B-D-I-L-L-Y. Some people spell it A-B-D-I-L-L-A. But we had no clever name for the store, so we sent our application into the state. I sent it as Abdilli Gold Jewelry Company. And when it finally came back from the state, licensed, I looked at that name there and I thought, well, I don't know if that really tells the story.
I thought you were going to say someone else got to that name first, and I would have been really surprised by that.
No one did get to that name first. When we opened up a website, of course, I wanted to use Abby's and different varieties of Abby's. And you'll find out that a lot of Abby's names are taken up on domains. So it kind of started as an honor to my grandparents.
Well, that's great. It has some family history behind there as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's the most active part of your business right now?
Right now and for the past few years, we've been through a recession of some sort. I don't really think it hit here as hard as it hit other places because we never really had a boom here too much in Fayette County. We've had kind of a steadiness to it, even though we're quite aware of the people who are out of work and who are underemployed, and we're sensitive to that. But as this recession occurred, we found that people still wanted to buy jewelry, and the thing about buying jewelry is that you mark the special occasions in your life with jewelry. I mean, even Boy Scouts, if you think about it, they don't get jewelry in a common sense of the word, but they get badges, they get things to adorn themselves that shows achievement. When you retire, you get a gift. When you get married, you get a gift. At Valentine's Day, you get a gift. When you turn 50, you get a gift. When you turn 16. And so people always want to buy jewelry to mark the special occasions in their life, but we were seeing people spend less money. So in the past few years, we geared some of our products down, and so they became more affordable than just selling diamonds and gold. So sterling silver is obviously been a big thing. Other things are services. People really do want services. So we do a lot of repairs. We do a lot of custom designs. We can take your grandmother's old rings and make you something new out of it so that you can give it to that girlfriend of yours or your wife. You could take family heirlooms and do that. We do buy a lot of gold, so to speak, from the public. The public's liking to sell a lot of their older gold jewelry that they purchased 20, 30 years ago, and so we're very active there.
It seems like you can't turn on the television or radio without hearing, someone saying, "I want to."
Right.
Do you want to sell your old gold? And I don't know that I would feel completely comfortable going into the lobby of a hotel and dealing with someone. But if the business you're dealing with, the people you're dealing with, I guess that's a little safer, or at least I would feel safer.
Absolutely. Our business really, as I said, you can buy jewelry anywhere now. Our business is really based a lot on trust. People trust us because we've been around. They trust us because they've done a little bit of business with us before. And so I've settled estates for people that were $30,000 plus and collections of old silver, old coins, etc. We explain things when people come in. The unique thing is this boom. We've been buying gold and silver and coins and candelabras, silver candelabras for years. What's driving this boom is that people have heard that gold is at record highs. Silver has been at record highs recently. And so people are downsizing and they're trying to raise money. And so we've provided a service by doing that.
So we have just a moment or two before we have to wrap up our segment here today. And I notice on the note card something that's kind of interesting to me, but jewelry is kind of a prized possession. Maybe one of those hot items for burglaries. When you get robbed, it may get lifted. What is common advice that you give to your customers on how to protect your belongings, or what do you tell them to do to kind of safeguard against that?
Yeah, I was just reading about this online again today because my insurance people, the people who insure my business, have advice for everybody. Naturally, you want to buy insurance if you own a lot of jewelry. You want to talk to your insurance professional, talk to us about it. You want to secure your jewelry. The biggest mistake that most women, ladies out there in the audience, make is they put all their fine jewelry in a nice, beautiful jewelry box all together, and they sit it on the dresser, making it real easy for people who are burglarizing their homes, pretty much to take just about everything. Unfortunately, we have people coming to us every week asking us, have we bought jewelry in the past week or month that may be described as something that they had lost in a burglary. Unfortunately, crimes of property are a big problem in our society today, and oftentimes a problem in a poorer community, somewhat like Fayette County in some respects. Not in all respects, but in some respects. And so you have to be mindful of locking your home, buying an alarm system perhaps, hiding some of your jewelry, ladies, not keeping it all in one place, and talking to your local jewelers and your police departments if you are the victim of a burglary or a robbery.
Well, let's just get your contact information out there one more time. Great. So those who may not be familiar with where the store is, why don't you tell us where you're located and how they can get in contact with you?
Sure. Thanks, Pat. My name again is John Karam. We own and operate Abby's Gold and Gems. We're in Uniontown. We've been here since we started. We're on Morgantown Street.
You even have a carport for cars to park.
I do.
The first come, first serve. But I tell you what, it was really nasty the other day, and that saved my suit jacket.
That's great. Yeah, that building's been there since 1960. We've owned it since about 1989. We're online at www.abbysgoldandgems.com, and we are very accessible. If you walk into our store with a question, an interest, whatever, we're not a high pressure jewelry store. You come in and you talk to us. You can talk to me in my store anytime, just as we're talking here today.
Special hours for Valentine's Day at all? Or?
No, we're very strict about our hours
okay.
until Christmas turns around.
Okay.
We're open Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 5:30, and by appointment if you call me. And we're open Saturdays from 9:30 to 5. And by the way, I really didn't know what your program was about. I'm not on your cable system. This is a great little program down here.
Sure.
I'm really impressed with everything that you've done and having the Cub Scouts here and a variety show like this. I've been at KDKA Studios. I have a brother in the business who's in a larger market. And this is a fantastic program that you have.
Well, hey, thank you, John. Anytime you have something new to share, if there's developments in your industry, you know where we are.
Love to come back.
Okay, hey, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after these messages.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
Well, thank you for staying with us. Going live with FCTV. We've had a lot of great discussion already, and we have two new guests on the couch from Colebrook Chocolate out in Connellsville, Jeff and Rosemary Brooks. How are you guys doing here this evening?
Good, thank you.
Well, thanks for being with you. I don't know if you know this, or I'm sure someone from Colebrook knows, but you supplied us with some chocolate that we used. At Christmas time, we did our favorite things episode, kind of like Oprah does, where we talked about all of the great items that you can purchase in Fayette County last-minute Christmas gifts, and Colebrook Chocolate made the list. Made the list there, so we thank you for having done that. Colebrook is you're a familiar name for people in Fayette County. You're a family business. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the story, how you got started?
Okay.
Well,
Jeff,
first, that's me. Okay, first off, thank you for having us. Colebrook actually was Brenda Joe Candies at one time, which was before 1990. And that business was around for about 20 years or so. And then my wife and I purchased it in 1990, and it went under the name Brenda Joe Candies till 1997, when my brother-in-law, and married to my sister, they moved back from California, and they came in and bought into the business, and then the name was changed to Colebrook Chocolate, which is Brooks, and my brother-in-law's name is Coleman, John. He's the John Coleman that's here tonight. And so Coleman and Brooks together, we created Colebrook Chocolate Company. So the name was changed in 1996, and that's how the name came about. And we are in Connellsville. We do fundraising. We do wholesaling, and now we have the retail store in Connellsville, which was opened a year ago in November of 2012.
So this is your second.
11. I'm sorry, 11.
Your second retail Valentine's Day. Is that
This
correct?
is the second retail Valentine's Day. Yes.
So I know we mentioned it earlier, but the retail store is in the Martins Plaza in Connellsville. Real
That's
easy
correct.
to find. How busy does it get around the Valentine's Day season? Or are there a lot of people that stop into the store?
Yes, at this time, the traffic picks up tremendously. A lot of people coming in to looking, see what we have, and then a lot of people will place orders for the day of Valentine's and not necessarily take it today. You're looking at about a 2 or 3 day holiday for Valentine's Day. You know, we're learning because this is our first retail for Valentine's Day, and so we've learned a lot over the last year of what people want, what they desire in chocolate and chocolate novelties, etc. So, Rose, did you want to?
Up until we had the retail, it was wholesale and fundraising. So the fundraising was always like the week before, and the wholesale was prior to Valentine's Day. So we really didn't get the rush of a Valentine's. So last Valentine's was a little tricky for us, but it was enjoyable.
But you got the hang of it?
I think.
A learning curve, you know. Yeah. What we learned this year was to be prepared for the following. Last year, to be prepared for the following year. So.
And John Coleman there on, I did it again. John Karam on the end of the,
yeah.
yes, hi. Could you wear a name badge for me? That was, John over there from Abby's Golden Gems, he could probably tell you anything you want to know about Valentine's Day holiday. I know it's a little bit different, you know, diamonds on one side and chocolate on the other. You can make your case. Why is chocolate a better Valentine's Day gift than, or why do you think it's a good Valentine's Day gift?
Well, you can eat it.
You can eat it.
Yeah. And it's always been tradition with flowers and chocolates and jewelry at Valentine's Day. You're always buying for your sweetie or your loved one or your family member, etc. And it's just, chocolate's been a tradition, a sweet tradition over the years, and it seems to hold its own. And really, in any economy, it just seems to, people treat themselves to something special, you know. But it's funny, people coming in asking what they really want. You know, I want a heart-shaped box, but could you put chocolate-covered bacon in it? You know, or something to that nature. You'd be surprised the requests you get. And if we can make it, we'll do it, because everything's made right in Connellsville.
The fresh dipped strawberries are very popular, and the champagne glasses this year, the wine goblets with the fresh dipped strawberries with truffles. You know, a lot of wives come in for their husbands and get 2 wine glasses, 2 champagne glasses, dipped in dark chocolate or milk chocolate, and that was really popular. And then that continued once the gifts got home for Valentine's Day. Then people bought that for special occasions like anniversaries and
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, Father's Day. Mm-hmm.
So those dipped items, they seem like that might be a specialty that I couldn't walk in any store and, you know, I can't go in Walgreens and find a wine goblet that's been dipped in chocolate.
That's correct.
You'd be hard pressed to find it. Yeah. And we use a high quality milk chocolate. We use dark chocolate, and we use white, and so we try to please the customer. You know, once again, dark chocolate's becoming more popular. You know, because of the health craze, but still, milk chocolate, especially in Western Pennsylvania, is big. You know, compared to the dark or the white.
You brought a small sampler here today with you. This is milk chocolate, I take it. It's a little lighter.
Yes, milk chocolate.
The milk chocolate.
It's all milk chocolate in that box. That's one of our heart novelties.
And so assorted pieces like this you can find at the store.
That's
Do I
correct.
have to pre-order them? Or?
No.
Okay.
No. It'll be good to pre-order. So when you show up, it'll be ready for you. But you could buy 1 or 2 pieces. You could buy a pound. You could buy half pound. You can buy a quarter of a pound. We have display cases where people can browse and see what we have.
And you can fill whatever you want into that heart also.
Exactly.
But then you have to also, I mean, that's a little bit of time, so it would be nice if you ordered ahead. If you're in a hurry and you want to fill that with chocolate-covered bacon, it'd be great to call ahead of time. Or all peanut butter meltaways.
Chocolate-covered bacon is not something I've tried. John, have you tried chocolate-covered bacon before?
No, but I've had something chocolate-covered at a restaurant in Rehoboth Beach. It was very strange, but it was the specialty of the house. And I've worked with women my whole life. I was a social worker before I was a jeweler. You know, there's always chocolate in my store. My wife loves chocolate. I think it's more popular than diamonds overall. I hate to say, but you can eat your chocolate, and my diamonds will last a lot longer.
Sure. Yeah, that's correct.
You know, for both of you guys, presentation's kind of everything. I know, John, you put your diamonds in a nice box. They do some nice boxing for your chocolate out there. I'm always very impressed with that.
You.
But here's a nice piece that you brought along with you. And these are milk chocolate covered pretzel twists.
Yes.
This is probably my favorite. My favorite from the
Everybody
store.
else's too.
Yeah.
That's probably our number one
seller.
Or the chocolate
covered pretzels. And then I'd have to think peanut butter melt away, anything peanut butter, but peanut butter melt away would probably be second. And then you got we call them caramel pecan tortoises.
Okay.
Yeah, because turtle's a trade name. So we call ours tortoises. So just to play it safe, you know. But and so on and so forth, you know.
Well, we don't have a whole lot of time left in the segment, but I did want to get in fundraising. You opened up and said, you know, that's what you did for a long time. So what type of organizations would benefit from a fundraiser that could be done with Colebrook Chocolate?
The Scouts, they could fundraise. We have a unique program where some companies come in and it's a gradual scale. You sell so much, you make so much. We have a flat 35% program where an organization will make 35%. If they sell $100, they make $35. They sell $1,000, they make $350. So we try to be equal with all the organizations, schools. We do nonprofits, churches, whoever would come in that would be interested in a fundraiser. We customize programs as well, so we do that.
And because we're local, if you have an issue with your orders, I mean, it's very easily corrected.
Right.
It's
Right.
You know,
They
we
could come into the
personalize every, like every scout would have their own order separated. And
yeah.
Sure.
And we also do mailings with that as well.
So now on the retail end of things, if I don't have time to make it into the store, can I find your chocolate anyplace else where I may already be stopping?
Yes. Go ahead.
yes, in this area, we service the Giant Eagle in Uniontown.
Okay.
In her floral department, Nemacolin and Woodlands in their sundries, and for special occasions they use us for things that they have up there, and
the gift shop.
The gift shop in the Uniontown Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, and they could request items through them, or they could come to Connellsville and we'll fix them up, or give us a call, and then we take care of that as well. And we do corporate sales for gifts for corporations. Also, an interesting item that's happening. The trend is buying bereavement baskets for people that instead of flowers, they're calling us and they want a bereavement basket with chocolates for the families. So we'll do it if we can do it. We'll pack it, make it, and get it out to them.
You mentioned your corporate gifts. If I wanted to have my logo put on some chocolate, that's
correct.
That can be
We
done
do
locally
chocolate
here?
covered business cards. Put it on a box of chocolates, or you can get a small box that's made with just the chocolate business cards. You know, you have to have your have it all set up and everything, but we can do anything.
We could do anything. We could even do a box with your name on it, and make it customized for you.
John, if you brought me a chocolate-covered business card, I guarantee you I wouldn't forget your name.
Do you have a buy local card?
Yes, I have one.
I do. Yeah, I have one. I use mine every day.
Where's your buy local card?
Use your buy local card to save money at restaurants, grocery stores, retail shops, tourist attractions, and service providers. Cards can be purchased online at www.buylocalfayette.org or by calling 724-437-7913.
Savor the flavor of Fayette. Buy local.
Well, hey, thanks for staying with us. They caught me mid chocolate-covered pretzel. I just couldn't wait till the end of the show, so I opened these up. Dave, you're back on the couch?
I am.
Who is the lovely young lady you have with you here?
It's Miss Carol Stewart of Johnny and Friends.
Carol, how long have you been involved with the organization, with the movement there?
Okay, it is spelled Joni, but it's pronounced Johnny. Although I'm a lifelong resident of Fayette County, I've never stayed at Jumonville until last summer. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I talked to a mom today and she said, well, if it's too hot next summer, I can't take Caitlin to Jumonville. And I said, your rooms are air conditioned. The rooms are air conditioned in Washington Lodge. Part of the training that we did, we had to go and make up the beds in the lodge as teams, the volunteers who arrived up at Jumonville one day ahead of the families. So, okay.
So who is Johnny, and how did she inspire the organization? How did it get its start?
Okay, Johnny Erickson Tata was an athletic, artistic 17-year-old when she was paralyzed in a diving accident in the Chesapeake Bay, and she was paralyzed from the neck down in an accident in 1967. And then Barbara Walters did a feature. She began to paint 2 years into rehab, paint and draw, with a brush and a pen held in her teeth because she could only move from her head up. So this drew the attention of Barbara Walters, and she featured a story about Johnny on the Today Show. And then Billy Graham did a film on Johnny's life. And this resulted in thousands of letters pouring in to Johnny, and she started her now worldwide ministry to people with disabilities. And this is just not physical. It can be autism, it can be blindness, it can be deafness, it's any disability.
People travel pretty far to come to the camps, like 7 or 8 hours? Is that correct?
Yes. And they'll do so again this summer. I was assigned to Angel. I was what they call a volunteer, a short-term missionary. I paid $380 out of pocket to go up to Jumonville and work 16-hour days. I made it to the prayer session at 7 a.m. the first 2 mornings. The rest of the days I was too tired. I just prayed in my cabin. But the teenagers were there. It was really refreshing to see young people with a passion to serve. And
that's a good kind of tired too, when you do something worthwhile like that, and you know you're making a difference in the lives of these people and their families.
Now, you mentioned there's a cost to be a helper to go up like you did. What does that cost help to cover?
It's
what do
$385.
registration fees cover?
$385. But I didn't get to finish about the family that I was assigned to. Angel is 8 years old, and there were it's Kim and Andy Schultz, and they're from Horseheads, New York. It's a 7-hour drive, one way. They drove in 2 vans on Monday, stayed the week at Jamonville, and drove home on Friday. 7 hours. Now there's 2 retreats on either side of us, Shawnee in Eastern Ohio, and there's one at Spruce Lake in the Poconos out by Wilkes-Barre. I called Kim last week. I said, Kim, the Spruce Lake is only 2.5 hours from you and Andy. And they're already registered for Jamonville. Again, they love Jamonville. It is a wonderful, there is a lift in the swimming pool. There's a zip line. There's things for everybody to do, and they just love it. They're coming again. They're registered.
Now, you mentioned the fee to go and help. What if a family, I assume there's a cost for the families to attend, what if they have an inability to pay? I know, with disabilities, things can be a little bit tight.
Well, there's money available to families. Some of the autism funds will go towards this. There's state funds that people can tap into. And then also, my ideas is that individuals, clubs, and churches can sponsor their people to go. Our church is going to sponsor 2 people that want to go to Jamonville, and I presented a 22-minute DVD of last year to the Kiwanis Club, and they sponsored 2 families, one from Perryopolis and one from Farmington.
Wow.
So, and I have other families that are registering because as of last Thursday, both Shawnee in the Ohio and Spruce Lake are filled.
And how
so
close
people are going to be looking.
Is Jamonville going to be close to being filled, or you have a good response?
Well, Jamonville is 1/3 filled.
Okay.
As of today, I talked to the girls out there today, and I talked to another mother. There's several that are interested, and they haven't gone online and registered yet. So my message to people is, if you have a family that could be involved, would want to be involved, pay your $50 and go online and get registered. But I'm Carol Stewart. I'm the local contact. Our number's in the book. It's 724-439-2006. And I'm willing to present the Jamonville DVD to groups, to churches, to individual families, whatever.
Well, hey, Carol, thank you for the great work that you're doing in the community. I know it is really needed for these families, and they really enjoy it a lot. So thanks.
Jamonville's great.
Hey, we'll be back in just a minute with Chef Joe, and Chef Mario will be here as well, so stick around. Thank you.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
Welcome back to Going Live with FCTV. I'm Mario Breck. I'm here with Chef Joe Carey. Joe, how's it going? I've known Joe for a while now. He's a good friend. He's a good chef, too. What are you up to these days, Joe?
Kind of doing a little bit of hanging out with the family, mainly cooking at home, but doing a little bit of catering, doing some special events just to keep the oil in the machine, so doing fundraisers, which is kind of, thing that I really like doing. So
yeah, you have a fundraiser coming up in March. It's what, the 23rd, I believe?
March 23rd, and this is we call it the Celebrity Chef Cook-Off, and I believe you are involved with that. So
I am a celebrity chef.
Yes,
So I use the word celebrity loosely, but
no, everybody's a celebrity here because they're a celebrity because you're giving your time for a great cause. So
speaking of another celebrity.
I know, I finally get to be on TV this time. Joe, how you doing?
Good, how are you, sir?
It's been a while.
Everyone knows Bill Alexander from the Mario Cook Show on WMBS on Saturday mornings. But we're going to have our own table at the colon cancer awareness event.
I'm making toast.
He's been adamant about making toast. I'm going to break him of that. Okay. Don't worry, you won't see toast.
I thought I could do toast.
We're going to be podcasting. We'll be there, so I'm sure Chef Joe will be there, and he'll be on the air with us while we're there for a few minutes. But we got a couple Valentine's Day dishes that you're going to be showing people how to make.
Well, actually, it's only one dish, as per se. What we're going to do is we're going to do 3 different types of dipping chocolates, And we're going to do a hard coat, which we actually already got started, and it's the magic of television.
It's okay.
It's
that happens in
up.
real life too, so that's a good thing.
Exactly,
You can see what happens. We're really cooking here.
So,
but
we're going to do a hard coat.
Okay.
We're going to do a ganache, which is also what you would do for like a fondue if you have a fondue pot and you want to keep it warm and you know, and feed your lover at that time.
Or the kids.
And we're also right. Kids actually like it a lot more. You go to any wedding or anything and they have a chocolate fountain. The kids are in there all night. So, but then we're also going to do something that you can take on a like on a picnic, or if you want to have something ready, or if you want to take it to, you know, if you have a luncheon you plan with somebody on a date and you want to do a, you know, something, you know, even if it's at work. You can take this chocolate sauce with you, and it acts like a fondue, but it can be cool. You don't want it to be cold, but it can be cool, so you don't have to worry about having a flame, or it's too tough to dip.
So as people know, the principles of chocolate are once you heat it up, it turns into a liquid, right? So you're going to show people how to make a dipping sauce with chocolate that when it cools down, it's going to stay liquid.
It's not gonna be quite as liquid as a warm ganache, but it's gonna be close.
Okay.
You know, so first we have over here we have a double boiler. This is for our hard coat, which it's not totally cooperating with us, but I think we can get there. And what this is just gonna be chocolate and what we like to say is a shortening or a fat. You can actually use, and this is, you know, with the chocolate fountains they tend to use oil in there. We're using butter because butter gives a better taste because it coats your tongue, and then you actually get to enjoy the chocolate more. In this scenario here, however, one thing you have to remember, no liquid goes in here. Watch your steam. You want your bowl to be on the outside. If it's on the inside, steam can go in and your chocolate seizes up. So we're going to go ahead and put the butter in there, and hopefully we're able to. I'm only going to put about half because if it is an issue, we can add more in order to thin it out a little bit. Okay. We're going to go over here and get started on our ganache.
Now, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
What is ganache? I mean, why is it called something different? Is it the way it's made, or is it just a special term for it?
It's just a special term for it. You know,
ganache is
French.
Ganache is typically chocolate, but it's fortified with cream.
Okay.
So it makes it a little more malleable, but it's still very rich chocolate. So.
And you can let it cool down and use it as an icing for a cake.
Okay.
You know, so it actually cools down, and once you put it into the fridge, it does get hard, but unlike this, you're not going to have a crunch to it. It'll be kind of like a soft bite to it.
Because the extra fat from the cream is what makes it smoother. Gives it a better mouthfeel, just like he added butter to that chocolate over there in the double boiler.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same purpose. When you add that fat, it richens it and softens it.
Now we're using Jackson Farms cream, which has a little bit of a little more fat to it, so it makes an even better ganache. But if you guys want to come over here with the camera and just take a quick look, if we're able to do that, in here we're almost scalding the cream, just little bubbles on it, and you're done. Just go ahead and put your chocolate chips in there, and you can shut your flame off and let it sit for about 2 minutes.
Now, are they special chocolate chips, or are they just any type that you can buy?
You want to have a certain amount of cocoa butter in there, but really you can use anything. Just watch when you buy the discs in the craft stores. They do put oil in those, so they're not as rich, and they may break a little bit on you. So, we can just go ahead and set this aside. We'll put it up here just to be on the safe side.
Now, the reason you used the double boiler for that and just went straight to the pot in that is because of the addition of the extra liquid, correct?
On
with
this
the,
here?
With the cream, yeah, because when you heat chocolate, it has a high sugar content, so if you have it directly on the flame, that sugar has a tendency to caramelize and it'll burn and scorch very easily, whereas if you're using a steam to heat it as in a double boiler for people at home so they know, it does it more gently and will keep it from burning.
Right. However, if you're very good with a microwave, you can do this without putting it on a double boiler. I would not recommend it. But if you're a master, you don't have to worry about doing a double boiler situation, and you can actually do that on a pot too. But I wouldn't recommend it, you know, because you step away for 1 second and then you're, and if you ever burnt chocolate,
it's not a good thing.
It is not a good thing. So, So we have that going so we can get that melted. And we're going to go ahead and do our takeaway chocolate sauce, which we're going to do the same way as we did the ganache. And we're going to heat up the cream. Now in this one here, we did half the cream to the chocolate. So so we had a cup of cream and a half cup of chocolate chips. I mean, switch that.
Okay.
Cup of chocolate chips, half cup of cream.
Got it, got it.
Here we're doing equal amounts. So we got a cup of cream and a cup of chocolate chips. And then we're going to go ahead and once we get that situated, we're going to go ahead and stabilize it with some egg yolks. Now we want it to be above 140 degrees when we do that, so we have to make sure.
Now, are you going to temper the eggs into the cream?
We are going to.
Because Bill and I have had conversations on the radio show about how to temper eggs without scrambling them. So now you're going to get to see how it's actually done.
Because I thought you just talked to them calmly, so you didn't make them angry and gave them a
so
temper.
You temper them?
Yeah, you temper them.
It's kind of that way. Okay, so we're going to get that in there. I'm going to leave the flame on, but normally you would just shut it off, let it sit, and then go ahead and whisk it in.
You know what's funny about this?
Speed this up.
We have all these kids here from the Cub Scouts, and they were kind of a little restless, I would say, through all the other segments. Now that we brought all this chocolate
they're
to
all
the
watching
table,
us intently
they're all calmly,
now.
intently watching.
We know we're getting some. We know we're getting some.
Okay, so that melted rather quickly.
Yeah, I mean, and if you want to melt chocolate faster, smaller chips is the way to go.
Oh,
I would do not increase the heat because
I would have never guessed that. To be honest with you,
it'll either burn or the cream will break and it'll separate.
Yeah, normally you just bring your cream. You know, you can use milk here. You're not going to get as rich a product. You can use half and half. You can use light cream, but I like to use heavy cream because it's guaranteed that everybody's going to like it because of the fat content.
Oh, we darn.
And people always ask me how to make things taste better.
Cream, butter.
Fat, sugar. That's it.
Fat carries flavor. That's what they teach you.
We're going to go ahead and I'm going to let Bill help me out on this.
Yeah, please. And if we can bring the camera over here, we can
learn
see
how
it.
to temper,
Yeah,
Bill.
show me how to do this.
Okay, I want you to just start moving those eggs.
You mean with this?
Yep.
Just scramble like.
Yep.
Okay.
Be a little more aggressive.
Okay.
And then anytime you temper eggs doing anything, you just kind of want to drizzle it in your hot liquid.
Okay.
Little at a time, because what we're doing is just trying to bring that temperature up slowly.
And you're bringing the temperature up the eggs, right?
Yes.
And you always.
If you were to drop it in there right away, you get scrambled eggs or scrambled chocolate.
That would be kind of interesting.
Would
to be
you eat a
honest with you.
chocolate omelet, Bill?
I eat chocolate bacon.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
we do like chocolate bacon. We've talked about that too, and they talked about that earlier.
Well, I hear someone out there like scrambled chocolate. There you go.
Chocolate on anything.
Okay,
right?
while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and whisk up the ganache. Now, what you can do at this point, you can add flavor to it. You can add raspberry puree.
Oh, that sounds good.
You can add Bailey's Irish Cream, which we're going to
nothing wrong with that either.
Add a tiny bit. Now you can get a shiny chocolate on here, but as Bill and I know, you got to work the chocolate on a marble top. So this is a nice way to get a nice gloss look to, to your whatever you're going to dip. Now, of course, you do have to serve it pretty much quickly, or it melts down and starts to lose some of its gloss. But
oh, that looks good. Yeah.
Beautiful piece of fruit, with chocolate on it.
Come on, whoever gets here first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kidding. We're going to go ahead and dump this back in here.
Oh, so I'm just pouring this back in?
Yep, just dump that back in.
We have more, don't worry.
You want to get about, as you do it, maybe about half the liquid to temper it, and then you can dump it back in. So, and then we're just going to whisk it up. We'll throw in the butter.
So again, what are the purpose of the eggs?
Thickens.
The thicken it up?
It stabilizes.
Well, it's more for a stabilizer.
Yeah. Okay.
So you get the nice, when you dip it in there 5 hours from now, like this, 5 hours from now it's going to be hard. So you won't be able to dip.
I got you. Okay.
Whereas this, because we use more cream, we just put the butter in just to rich it.
And you made it healthy too. We have protein in there now too.
The proteins of the yolks.
Okay.
Don't coagulate all the way. So if you've ever made like a custard, you use eggs and you cook them in a water bath, and they coagulate, but not completely to the point where they're completely solid. That's basically what's going to happen.
This also has a shine to it, and the shine will dissipate a little bit as it cools down. But again, this is something you can put in a little container and take it anywhere where you'd like. So hopefully this has melted down. So we got lucky because I don't think there's any liquid in here, but Don't feel.
Bill was keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah, I was watching it.
Don't feel like you have to say, okay, we're going to add some liquor to this because it's going to seize up immediately. What you want to do is they have oils out there. They got flavored oils out there. And you can go ahead and get those and put that in. That's going to give you a nice flavor.
If you
like
put anything this, you have to use it immediately, correct? You can't.
This here, yeah, this would be something that you would go ahead and coat your strawberries or your pineapple or your it's not.
You'd want to probably even chill that down after you coat them,
and then you would put it in the refrigerator.
It'd be a hard shot.
Because if you leave it out at room temperature, it's going to have less of a gloss. Actually, this is kind of funny because when it cools down, it gets glossier, and it's also you want that crunch. So when you're feeding your lover on Valentine's Day. So.
Or your kids, whichever.
Well, usually the kids get to it first.
Which one's your favorite?
Ganache is ganache. I mean, it's the one that everybody's going to like the most. However, this one here is fun because you can take it anywhere, and you can have the fruit, and you can have that, and you could go to the drive-in theater.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Boom,
yeah.
and do it. So I like this one. It's more versatile. But when I'm just with my wife, of course that's the better one. And this one again, if you don't use it all, you can go ahead and heat it up a little bit, put it on cupcakes. Put it on regular cake. This one is this one here too. Once you get all your stuff coated and you have a little bit left over, you can go ahead and make a chocolate sauce out of it. Add a little bit of cream to it, maybe a little bit of sugar and some flavoring. Vanilla. One thing we didn't put in here is vanilla. However, you can go ahead and put a little bit, and that actually heightens the chocolate taste in here. So.
Another thing that helps too is a little pinch of salt. Always helps.
Cayenne pepper
elevate.
too.
Yeah,
cayenne pepper.
Just makes the
put a
flavors
little
pop.
tight,
You don't
and
want
it
to
just
taste it. Yep.
Well,
thanks, chef. Is there anything else you want to plug your event one more time?
Yeah.
Head off.
It's March 23rd, and are they gonna? You guys gonna put the recipes up?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, well, the recipes will be up that way. I was going to say just email me at kayleys@kayleys.com. If you need a recipe or if you have any other questions, you can go ahead and do that. But it is the 23rd. We have 30 chefs lined up, and it is a fantastic event. It's for a great cause, for the Fayette County Colon Cancer Network. And what we do with that is we spend the money to make awareness for people that should get themselves checked for colon cancer. Now, if you have a family history, at the age of 40, you should start getting checked. If you don't, at the age of 50, get it done. I had 3 people that I know personally that have passed away this year from colon cancer, and these are people that know me, and I'm a very big advocate of getting yourself scoped. Our tagline this year is get scoped, get living. So, I mean, get it out of the way. If you're 50 or 40, get it out of the way. That way you don't have to worry about it. And that way it's not in the back of your mind, because I guarantee you every time you see my face on a billboard or in the newspaper, you're going to say, man, I got to get it.
Or in church, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I got to get scoped, and and it's always sitting back there. Get it done. It's really not that hard. The one good thing about getting scoped, and people laugh when I say that, is after you get it done, you're so hungry that no matter where you go to eat, it's going to be the best meal you ever had. So
take some chocolate with you.
Yeah, why not?
But we want to thank you for being here. Again, that's March 23rd is the event. Come down and see us. Bill and I will be there.
And I understand Matt and Dave are going to be there too,
Matt and
which
Dave
should
will
be
be
really
there.
interesting.
So
Actually, yeah, we have, like I said, 30 people in the community. They're probably all your friends. It's a fantastic,
all right.
fun,
well, we look forward
fun
to it.
event.
Thanks for being here.
Right.
And let's eat some chocolate while we rock out to some more Jimmy Buffett with Tim Litvin. Tim, you ready? Let's go.
Well, I like my chicken fried, a cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. Well, I've seen the sunrise, I see the love in a woman's eyes, I feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. Well, I was raised underneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, with sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. In my house, it's not much to talk about, but it's filled with love that's grown in the southern ground, and a little bit of chicken fried